Dave, congratulations. You've done exactly what you asked your players to do today, but it took some big changes at half-time to get that intensity, if you like, in the second half.
Yeah, it did. I don't think our performance in the first half was poor. No. I think we conceded poor goals and made mistakes. I think we made some mistakes in front of their goal where we have opportunities to score and don't score. And that's what games, at any level of side, but especially when you get to the end of the season and playoff games are decided by those moments. We then have a choice at half time in terms of how we try and change momentum, wrestle it back, try and get it going in a different direction. And regardless of what was said or changed or made at half time, ultimately the players need to go and perform, and they've done that. You're buoyed by an early goal and the start, and I suppose attacking that end and the supporters back in the game. I say back in the game. I thought the supporters were great all the way through, even in some adversity. And if there was a little bit of booing at half time, I was probably joining in with them because we were behind. But this team, when they have been questioned, and sometimes they get questioned by me, respond in the right way, and they've done that brilliantly, and gone on to produce a brilliant comeback and keep our season alive in terms of an automatic promotion place.
The man who really brought the excitement, of course, was Jayden Fevrier, and when he plays like that, you can see exactly why you were so keen to sign him. I guess it's about getting that out of him on a more consistent basis, is it?
Absolutely. And from the start of games, that's the key. I think when you're playing, and we speak about this with all of them really, when you're playing positions higher up the pitch, you're judged on numbers. It is painted by numbers. It's like goal assists and goals, assists, goal involvements, and what that looks like. And his end product, a couple of times of frustration after he'd scored where we didn't get that. And if he can do that consistently, he's obviously going to be a threat. I suppose medium term, long term, we felt short term, saw him playing slightly more inside the pitch. Yeah. It's something he doesn't really, or hasn't really, or we don't get the best from him at the moment, but as was shown, if you see what he does in a wide area, if you can translate that a stripe inside, or we'll block the pitch off into 5, you can move into lane 4 if you like, all of a sudden he's going to be getting shots away and he's going to be testing a goalkeeper rather than those assists. That will be the defining thing around him and how far he can go. In order for him to be able to do that, we've got to get him properly fit. He missed a large chunk of the season through injuries. Obviously came in and was injured when we signed him, and that took a bit of time. So there are reasons for that. We won't use them reasons as excuses. But to see the impact he would have can only make you excited that we need to get to the bottom of or give him the best chance of that happening, as you say, on a consistent basis.
But as a team today, I thought statistically, I mean, you dominated the ball. I think 20 attempts on goal, you've hit the woodwork twice, you scored 3, obviously. Did you go very aggressive today? Was that the message to the players today?
We want to be aggressive in every game. Unfortunately, you're playing in a game where you have opposition against you that try and stop what you're doing. Naturally, some people will be. We do psychological profiling of players. Naturally, some people have a tendency to be safe and to be a little bit more reserved, and I wouldn't say introverted, but slightly that way. So that's difficult to change in moments where there is jeopardy and there is pressure, because the tendency will be to, rather than go and commit to doing something that could make a big impact and have a big reaction, go a little bit safe and make the safe option so it doesn't become on me and have a safe reaction, rather than trying something, it go wrong and it'll all be like, oh, why have you done that sort of thing? And naturally some people will be like that. That doesn't change. We've spoken to players there that we've got to get over that in terms of looking at, we've conceded the first goal in the last 4 games and won 3 and drawn 1. So we shouldn't have any fear that if we go and be aggressive and be brave around what we're doing, that if we concede, we can't change that. We have to work really, really hard, and that's still the case at the start of the game. So notoriously at this time of the year, games are tight, games are edgy, games are nervous when there's lots on the line. But I think, and I've always spoken about this about about regret. What we want to be at the end of the season, regardless of what happens, is not look back and go, could have done that better, could have done that better. There will be things, but make sure it's not for the want of trying to stick into what we want to be viewed as a football club.
You've kept the dream alive with the result today, and of course the playoffs are still a nailed-on certainty if you don't get the result you need. However, nobody wants to play county, do they? We're finishing this season like we finished last season. I think last season won 8 out of 9. Now you've just won 6 out of 7. Finishing strongly like this is a statement, isn't it?
Yeah, I hope so. I think we've been pretty consistent over the course of the season. We've not, again, jinx anything. We've not really had a bad run in terms of consecutive losses. Again, we take a pride in the fact that no one's done a double over us, and we spoke about that in the dressing room at half time. He spoke to the players, and Wickham are the only team that can do it next week. So that's like a huge pat on the back for the players. You obviously want to come into this part of the season playing your best stuff, or not necessarily playing your best stuff, but getting your best results, and that's what we're managing to do. So listen, I'm always going to say, look forward to, embrace these games and enjoy them. They're difficult to enjoy because, like I say, the prize at the end is so near yet so far, and the jeopardy is enormous. We've been there, so we know what disappointment looks like, and the ultimate feeling of losing at Wembley Stadium. We've been there, and for us that was, I wouldn't say difficult to get over, but you look at, was there a bit of a hangover the following season? Potentially there was, but all of a sudden we found our groove and we end up as league champions. We're coming into a really good place, and again, whether people don't want to play us or whatever, that makes no difference. We'll be judged on, like I say, 4 lots of 45 minutes in the semi-final, and hopefully, if that's the case, a final at Wembley Stadium. And if there are any sort of rights to wrong, that's the best place to do it.
Dave, as ever, really appreciate your time. I take it you're going to watch the Wrexham game here, are you?
I'm not actively going to make sure I sit down somewhere and watch it. It'll be on. We'll have a drink with the Lincoln staff if they're still about, and it'll be on. And we'll hope things go in our favour. We'll look forward to hopefully Liverpool win the Premier League tomorrow, and back to work Monday.
Fantastic. Thanks for your time.
Cheers, John. Thanks, mate.